this unit, you are going to learn about imperatives, verbs used to speak about likes and dislikes, object pronouns, and ways to make suggestions. The imperative is used in direct commands. We can use imperatives when we speak to another person, vai avanti, or other people, andate avanti. And we can use imperatives when we speak to others and include ourselves, andiamo avanti. There is only one form of direct command when you speak to other people. It makes no difference whether you are speaking to one person or several people. The imperative is formed using base verb without to. Normally, no subject pronoun is used. Sit down. Open your books. Think. Key in your secret number. Do me a favour. You can, of course, use please when you wish to be more polite. Sit down, please. Please do me a favour. Adding will you after the imperative is another way to make an order sound more like a request. Won't you can also be used, but is less common. Do me a favour, will you? Sit down, won't you? You can also begin an imperative sentence with do before another verb. This makes the sentence more emphatic. If it was already polite, it becomes more polite. If it was strong, it becomes stronger. These sentences are possible. Remember, however, that they are not used as often as simple imperatives without do. Do sit down. Do be quiet. You can also begin an imperative sentence with always. Always lock your car door. An imperative sentence can begin with a subject. This can be done to make clear which individual or individuals in a group the sentence is addressed to. Mary and John, come here, please. You, follow me. Everyone else, stay here. Otherwise, beginning imperative sentences with a subject generally indicates anger. It is not widely used. Sit down. You sit down. Negative imperatives are formed using don't plus the base verb. Don't forget your umbrella. Don't smoke while the plane is taking off. Do not is sometimes used but sounds extremely emphatic. If you've ever played Monopoly, you'll remember. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You can also begin a negative imperative sentence with never. Never leave valuables in your car. Negative imperatives can be followed by will you. Don't tell Jim, will you? The structure used for the first person plural imperative is let's plus base verb. Let's is the contracted form of let us. Let us for the affirmative and let us not for the negative are correct, but are only used in very formal language. So normally we say, let's go. Let's meet outside the cinema. Let's have chicken for supper. There are two negative forms, let's not and don't let's. In writing, let's not is preferred, and it is also used more often in speaking. Don't let's is only used in very informal speech. Let's not forget her birthday. Don't let's get there late. That is all there is to the imperative. Don't tell me it's not easy. Now, let's look at the verb like. It has the same general meaning as the verb piacere, but in form resembles the verb amare. Amo la musica. I love music. Mi piace la musica. I like music. With he, she, it, we use likes, and in all other ways, to like follows the rules for verbs that have already been presented. It is one of the verbs that is not used in continuous tenses. Do you like ice cream? What flavour ice cream does he like best? She didn't used to like vegetables when she was a child. They don't eat meat because they don't like it. Like can be followed by a noun, ice cream or vegetables, for example. When an activity is considered, like is followed by a gerund, the base verb plus ing. I like sports. I like skiing and swimming. I like football. I like playing football and I like watching matches on television. I drive every day, but I don't really like driving. Note that the gerund is identical to the ing participle in form, so there are the same changes as there are in the participle when adding the ing ending, depending on the way the base verb is spelt. Other verbs used to talk about likes and dislikes follow the same pattern. Here are other verbs that are similar to like and are followed by a noun, pronoun or gerund. Enjoy, love, adore, don't mind, dislike, hate, detest, loathe, can't stand. The verbs like, love and hate are exceptions. Love and hate can be followed by either a gerund or an infinitive without much difference in meaning. This is so in both American and British English. I love to ski. I hate to drive when it's foggy. In American English, there is no change in meaning whether like is followed by an infinitive or a gerund. I like skiing or I like to ski. In British English, however, when like is followed by an infinitive, the meaning is somewhat different. In British English, I like to get up early indicates that you choose to get up early because you think it is a good thing to do. You are not indicating that you think getting up early is fun. Remember that only these three verbs of liking, disliking can be followed by an infinitive. In both British and American English, all the other verbs you've just learnt cannot be followed by an infinitive. They must be followed by a gerund. I like snow, but I really dislike driving in the snow. I don't mind waiting in line, but I can't stand being pushed. All these verbs, in fact all transitive verbs, can also be followed by an object pronoun. You've already learned what the subject pronouns are in English. Here now are the object pronouns called pronomi personali di complemento in Italian. They follow verbs and prepositions, and each pronoun has only one form. Different forms for direct and indirect object pronouns do not exist. Me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. Here are examples of sentences with object pronouns. The film was really good. I liked it very much. Mary's nice. I like her. Here are the photographs. Do you like them? In addition, object pronouns are normally used in very short sentences. In answer to the question, "Who's that?" we normally answer, "It's me," or "me." If the question is that John on the phone?" we answer, "Yes, it's him." In English, we almost never use subject pronouns after verbs or in one-word sentences. In Italian, you can say both Giorgio ha detto a me and Giorgio mi ha detto. You can say ti stanno cercando and stanno cercando te. English is different. A clause with an object pronoun before the verb is not possible in English. You can only say Giorgio told me. They're looking for you. There are verbs that can be followed by a direct and an indirect pronoun, as in the sentence, I gave George the book. These verbs include bring, buy, give, lend, offer, send, show, take, teach, tell. The sentence pattern with all these verbs is the same. When using nouns, we usually place the indirect object, complemento di termine, without a preposition immediately after the verb, and the direct object, complemento oggetto, after it. I gave George the book. I bought George a book. He told Jane and Paul the news. She taught our class English. With two nouns, it is also possible for the direct object to follow the verb and the indirect object introduced by the prepositions to or for to go after it. This structure is not used as often. I gave the book to George. I bought a book for George. When the indirect object is a pronoun and the direct object is a noun, the object pronoun directly follows the verb and no preposition is used. I gave him the book. He told them the news. She taught us English. They bought me this book. It is also possible, but far less usual to say, I gave the book to him. He told the news to them. She taught English to us. They bought this book for me. But when using two pronouns, the direct object follows the verb and the indirect object preceded by to or for comes afterwards. We say, I gave it to him. He told it to them. She taught it to us. They bought it for me. We do not normally say, I gave him it. He told them it, etc. However, in informal speech, this is sometimes done. There is one last point in this unit. Ways to make suggestions in English. In Italian, you probably know many different ways to propose or suggest that something be done, ranging from andiamo to perché non andiamo to che ne dici di andare. Here are ways to make suggestions in English. We can use let's plus base verb. Let's go out for a pizza this evening. A suggestion with let's followed by shall we This is a way to ask if the people you are talking to agree. Let's go out for a pizza, shall we? Why don't plus subject plus base verb. Why don't we go out for a pizza this evening? If your car's always breaking down, why don't you buy a new one? How about and what about plus gerund. I had a pizza for lunch. How about having a Chinese meal instead? What about meeting at the cinema? Shall we plus base verb. Shall we get him a CD for his birthday? Should we plus base verb in American English. Should we get him a CD for his birthday? There are other more formal ways to make suggestions, but these will be presented further on when you study modal verbs. The ways you've just studied are acceptable for making suggestions in informal speech and writing. To ask for a suggestion, we generally use shall in British English. What shall we do? Where shall we go? Shall we meet at the cinema? In American English, it is more usual to use should. What should we do? Where should we go? Should we meet at the movies? Finally, here are some ways of agreeing to or accepting a suggestion, and some ways of politely rejecting or disagreeing with a suggestion. To agree with a suggestion, we can say, "Yes, that's a good idea." "That sounds like a good idea." "What a good idea." "Good idea." "Okay, let's do that." "Sure." To reject a suggestion, we can say, "I don't think that's such a good idea." "I'm not sure I agree." "That's a good idea, but..." Or you can make an alternative suggestion. "Shall we do something else instead?" "Why don't we do something else instead?" "Let's do something else instead." That is the end of the lesson. Now you can do the exercises on the grammar points presented in this unit.